Life will life. The question is, how will we deal with it? We can bury the feelings with food, but it won't make reality different. My experience as an emotional eater who was 50 pounds overweight at one time is that I was trying to change reality by eating. Welcome everybody to the Heal Your Hunger Show. So happy to have you here. It is a great day to be alive. And I need to talk about tragedy because we have just experienced the horrific tragedy of Kerrville, Texas, and the flooding, much flooding in Texas, and much devastation and death and tragedy. And there is so much pain right now in our country, in that state. And there's pain everywhere, let's face it. I mean, there's several wars throughout the globe. There's so much dissension. It's just sad, right? Polarization. There's a lot of pain. But regarding tragedy, I really want to talk about this because it's really hard. It's hard for any human to experience tragedy. And I think it's extra hard as emotional eaters. And our typical reaction is to eat through painful circumstances. So I just want to call it out. Instead of eating, what are you going to do? What are your options? I want to talk about that. 4 don'ts and 4 do's. Let me start with the don'ts. So the first don't is don't run from it. My experience as an emotional eater who was 50 pounds overweight at one time because of running from my feelings is that I was trying to change reality by eating. I didn't want to face what was. I didn't want it to be the way it was. And when I ate, I could numb the pain of reality and create an altered reality, one where it wasn't so bad, it didn't hurt so much. And I think that's what we're doing when we overeat, when we feel pain, when we get bad news, when something terrible happens. We can't bear the feelings that are real. And so we eat to alter those feelings, namely to anesthetize those feelings, and then we feel nothing. And then it's like our reality isn't what it actually is. Momentarily, of course. We can't change reality, but we can change our perception of it at the moment. But if you think about it, that's kind of childish. Okay? It's really childish, actually. It's almost like we're putting our fingers in our ears and going, la, 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 right? We don't want to know what's happening. We don't want to face what's happening. And guess what? You know that the pain comes back. When the binge wears off, when that food gets digested or you get rid of it in some way, the pain comes back. And the fact is, feelings buried alive never die. So the pain will come back. It will be waiting for you the next morning after a late night binge. And it sucks to wake up to the realization that the night before you consumed 1,000 calories of cereal and ice cream and cookies. But not only that, what you were running from is still there. Reality is still there. And so my first don't is don't run from it. Life will life. The question is, how will we deal with it? We can bury the feelings with food, but it won't make reality different. So really important that we don't run from it because that only causes more pain. The second don't is don't dismiss your feelings. I find that emotional eaters do this too often. I have been guilty of this time and time again of saying, oh, I'm okay. I'm okay. I feel fine. It's not that big a deal. It doesn't matter, which is really code for I don't matter, meaning I'm not important enough to face the feelings that I'm feeling. So don't dismiss your feelings. Instead, what you can do is name them. Name them, claim them, and tame them. It helps to put words to it. I have a friend who called me today. She recently experienced the death of her mother-in-law, and there's been a lot of death. She actually lost her husband, her mother-in-law's son, many years ago as well. So it's all kind of being kicked up. And I said, yeah, the experience you're having right now, the tiredness, the sadness, the being kind of all over the place, that's grief. She's like, oh yeah, this is grief. To name the feelings is almost a relief. Like, this is something. I'm not going crazy. So name the feelings. And also talk about those feelings. Write about the feelings. Just get out a pen and paper and write it out. What are you feeling? And pray about those feelings. My experience is God is always available to relieve us, even if just a little bit, to relieve us of some of the pressure that pain causes. So don't dismiss your feelings by saying, oh, it's not a big deal. No, you're a worthy person who deserves to honor her feelings. So don't dismiss those feelings. Name them. All right? Own them. Name them, claim them, tame them. Feel them. You can't heal what you're not willing to feel. So feel them. The pain does subside. Okay, it feels like in the moment it will never subside. It will subside. My shorthand for how to deal with feelings is write about it, talk about it, pray about it. And also make sure you cry about it as well. Crying is so, so healing. The third don't is don't blame God. All right? Don't pin the tragedy on God, like God must have meant it to happen. I personally don't think God wills tragedy. I don't think God wills people to die so that we can learn lessons. All right? He didn't will the tragedy. He didn't rig it so the tragedy happened. He didn't use that tragedy to teach you a lesson. Now, you may learn lessons from the tragedy, and that's so important, right? We always want to keep growing and learning, but I don't believe that God sends us trouble and turmoil. When it comes, because things happen, tragedy happens, natural disasters happen. When they happen, there are things we can learn from it. Most of all, we can learn to depend on each other and on God. The next and last don't is don't blame yourself. Don't blame God and don't blame yourself either. You know, when bad things happen, very rarely did you have something to do with it, all right? I mean, mistakes happen. We make mistakes, in which case we need to find forgiveness for ourselves. But typically speaking, it's not about us. It's not our fault, you know, and it's certainly not personal. It's not happening because you have things in your past you feel bad about, all right? You're not being punished. And when people die whom we love, they aren't dying on us, okay? They're just dying. So again, it's not personal. No one is punishing you. You don't deserve to be punished. So the 4 don'ts: don't run from it, face it. Don't dismiss your feelings, feel them. Don't blame God. God didn't make it happen. And don't blame yourself. You're not at fault. Now, I want to go through the 4 do's also for you, short and sweet. Do embrace whatever's happening as part of life. There are hard times in life. You know, when I experienced the death of my ex-husband, I was so sad, and I so didn't want it to be true that he died. And I certainly didn't want him to be gone. I missed him. I wanted to talk to him. I wanted to see him. I couldn't. It was an immutable part of life that he would eventually die. He was older and he died. You know, and death is so hard because it's so permanent. But it is part of life. You know, with life comes death. With joy comes sorrow. It's part of life. And what we can do as emotional eaters is embrace it as part of life. Not that it's easy, not that it's fun, but the sooner we accept life on life's terms, however hard, the better we will be, because we won't be railing against what's true and trying to alter what's true with an altered reality by numbing out and eating. Number 2, the second do is use God for support. God didn't cause it, but God is available for you to lean on to get through it. Okay, so use God for support. Number 3, lean on community for support. I think one of the most beautiful things that comes out of tragedy is the way communities come together, the way we discover our humanity and others' humanity as well. People who could be at odds with each other, the minute they have a shared experience of tragedy, all of a sudden, the better part of them, their higher self, is leaning in and depending on each other to get through it. And all of a sudden, whatever differences there were, they fall away. That's what we find through tragedy is community, bonding, shared experience, and shared solutions. So lean into community, because when you do that, you give other people the opportunity to be helpful to you. Don't go it alone. It's the worst thing you can possibly do when you're going through a hard time. And the last do is find your purpose and live it. You may not have expected me to say that, but my experience is when tragedy happens, it gives us a chance to evaluate our perspective and also our lives. You know, it shakes us up and gives us impetus for reevaluating our priorities. What are we doing with our lives? Are we spending our lives in the best and highest way possible? And the fact is, if you're an emotional eater and you're spending way too much time eating and obsessing about food and obsessing about your weight, that is not the highest and best use of your time. So the silver lining of tragedy is that it gives us impetus to start spending our time in a more intentional way, doing the things that matter and that can make us feel like we have a life well lived. Okay, so find your purpose and live it. And if food is in the way of you living your purpose, it's time to make changes. Please reach out if that's the case, and let's talk about how we can get you a winning solution so you can clear food out of the way and start living your highest and best purpose. You deserve that, and everybody who loves you deserves to experience you on purpose, because it's quite a sight. I hope this has been helpful. 4 don'ts. Don't run from life. Don't dismiss your feelings. Don't blame God. And don't blame yourself. 4 do's. Embrace tragedy as part of life as much as it sucks. Use God for support. Lean into community and find your purpose and start living it. I hope this has been helpful. I love you so much, and I'm so sorry for whatever tragedy is close to you if you're going through it right now. Sending you love. I'll see you on the next show. If you're ready to get off the dieting roller coaster ride and finally make peace with food and with your body, talk to a Heal Your Hunger mentor about what steps you need to take based on your own history with food and weight. Go to healyourhunger.com and register for an emotional eating breakthrough session and see how fast you can experience real change. It's a complimentary evaluation, but there are limited spots available. So go to healyourhunger.com and register to speak with a mentor today.